All right, perfect. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our webinar, SBA Lending Programs, Your Path to Business Growth. Just a couple of housekeeping items before we start. I want to let everyone know we are recording this session. There are no microphones or cameras enabled, but if you feel uncomfortable, you can disconnect. We will still be sharing the recording to everyone for all of our registered attendants. I am thrilled to have you all join us today as we explore essential lending programs to help you navigate the journey of growing your business. Today, we will cover these following key topics with real-life business success stories for SBA 7A loan program and the SBA 504 loan program. My name is Giselle Brito. I am a Community Commercial Loan Officer, Vice President with Northern Bank. I have the pleasure of working alongside many dedicated entrepreneurs and small business owners throughout my career. And my goal today is to equip everyone on this call with the necessary knowledge to leverage these loan programs as you begin to plan for 2025 and beyond. Joining me today is our guest speaker, Brant Abraham, Vice President, Business Development Officer at Granite State Development Corporation, who will also provide deeper insights into the SBA 504 loan program.
Thank you very much for the warm introduction, Giselle. It's very much appreciated. It's a pleasure to be here today. I'm excited to share insights on how the SBA 504 program empowers small businesses to grow and expand. Whether you're starting out your business or an established company, there are numerous resources available. I'm looking forward to our discussion. Thank you.
Thank you, Brant. I truly appreciate your willingness to join us today and share your expertise. Now, before we dive into the specifics of SBA Lending Solution, I'd like to share more information about my company, Northern Bank, also a proud partner of the SBA. Jim Mon is the current president and CEO of Northern Bank. The bank started in the 1960s by his father, Jim Sr., and his uncle, Thomas Mon. Fun fact, Northern Bank is actually one of the few family-run financial institutions in Massachusetts. We are located within Middlesex County. We serve businesses within our communities and strongly support entrepreneurship. Our mission at Northern Bank, we believe that helping entrepreneurs build a successful business helps build a stronger, more vital community for all of us. We pride ourselves on having a team that always goes the extra mile. Our cash management team provides solutions for fraud protection, streamlined and secured solutions for ACH and check payments, and always finding ways to keep our clients' accounts secured. We have our wealth management team over at Asset Strategy, which helps support individuals and businesses create, manage, protect, and distribute wealth. Our team at Fiserv supports our businesses to get efficient, cost-effective services with credit and debit card payment processing. Next, let's discuss the ways in which businesses are supported by the Small Business Administration. Brant, what are your thoughts and insights on how the SBA supports economic development?
The SBA plays a critical role in promoting economic development by providing various forms of support to small businesses. One of the main ways is through access to funding. The SBA offers loan programs that help small businesses secure the capital they need to start or expand.
Thank you, Brant. And I'd like to add, as an SBA lender, it's clear that the SBA offers a wealth of opportunities for businesses' growth and success. Another resource that many of my clients take advantage of are the mentorship and business training programs. These initiatives help business owners enhance their skills in areas like management, marketing, and financial planning. Plus, there are mentoring services available through programs like SCORE, Center of Women Enterprise, and Local Business Development Center. SCORE provides a wide range of services, including training, webinars, online workshops, courses on demand, and a library of online resources. The Women Business Center provides free to low-cost counseling and training to assist women in starting and growing small businesses. The Business Development Center, along with the Veterans Outreach Support Center, also provides counseling and training to small businesses including working with SBA to develop and provide informational tools to support business startups and existing business expansion. It's important for businesses to not just survive, but thrive in today's competitive environment. And in addition to mentorship and training, another significant advantage offered by the SBA is their role in federal contracting opportunities. This opens up new revenue streams for small businesses by allowing them to compete for government contracts. The SBA also provides crucial support through home and business disaster loans. These loans help individuals and businesses recover and rebuild in the aftermath of natural disasters, ensuring that affected communities can regain their economic footing. These resources highlight the SBA's comprehensive approach to supporting small businesses. From my experience working with the SBA, especially during the pandemic, it's clear that the SBA's resources extend far beyond traditional financing, touching on various aspects of business support and economic growth. Next, I'd like to discuss why banks like Northern and other lenders actively participate in SBA lending programs. The SBA 7A loan program serves as a Small Business Administration's primary lending initiative designed to support small businesses by guaranteeing loans up to an impressive $5 million. This is a fantastic resource for small business owners, and banks love it for several reasons that ultimately benefit you as a business owner. The SBA 7A guarantees a large percentage of the loan amount, up to 85% of loans of $150,000 or less, and up to 75% of loans above $150,000. This means that if a borrower defaults, the bank is protected against those losses. This reduced risk allows banks to offer loans to businesses that might not qualify for traditional financing due to insufficient credit history, lack of prior business ownership experience, or lack of collateral. For you as a business owner, this translates to easier access to capital. Banks are more willing to lend to small businesses because they have that safety net with the SBA guaranteed loan. As a small business owner, this opens up opportunities for you to secure funding for the following business purposes. And this can include working capital, equipment purchases, business acquisitions such as partner buyouts, or an employee of the company looking to buy the business. Whether it's hiring new staff, expanding your inventory, enhancing your marketing efforts, new website design, or creating a new business initiative to create multiple streams of income. And of course, we have the SB 504 program, which Brant will address soon during this webinar. The microloan program also has a loan limit up to $50,000 to use for funds that can be for various business needs, such as purchasing inventory, supplies, covering working capital expenses. The repayment terms are typically up to 6 years. More information can be provided on the SBA.gov website, but for today, we'll focus on the two most popular programs, SBA 7A and the 504 loan program. Okay, let's have some fun and interact. If you believe this statement is true, show me a thumbs up emoji located on the top of your screen. Use any other emoji for false. Here is the first question. True or false? SBA 7A loan applications are directly submitted to the SBA for approval. Fantastic job, everyone. Thank you for the participation. The answer is false. SBA 7A loan applications are not directly submitted to the SBA. Instead, these applications are first submitted through a network of approved lenders such as Northern Bank, who handle the initial processing and then submits the application to the SBA to secure the guarantee. Thank you again for your participation, everyone. Let's keep up that energy. Let's move on to the next question. True or false? Business owners can use equity from a residential property as an equity injection for a commercial real estate property or to fund startup costs. Well, the answer is this is a tricky one, Brant. It depends. The SBA Standard Operating Procedure, also referred to as the SOP, states borrowed funds may be deemed equity if the applicant can demonstrate repayment ability from a source other than the cash flow of the business. Let's jump to the next slide for an example scenario. So I had the opportunity to assist a dedicated physical therapist who aimed to establish his own practice. With a well thought out business plan and a clear understanding of the uses of the $350,000 SBA loan, such as covering costs to expand his business to a new location, including updated equipment, marketing materials, outside signage, payroll rent expenses, and providing permanent working capital to support the waiting period for insurance payment. In this case, the bank required collateral to secure the loan. To mitigate the collateral shortfall, the bank suggested placing a property lien on the residential. Although the physical therapist's wife was not a business owner, her name was also on the deed of the residential property, and she had also had to be at closing to sign off on the acceptance of placing a third lien on their property. The husband and wife had to provide joint personal financial statements, including recent pay stubs, which provided evidence that their combined income could sufficiently cover all personal debt. It's important here. The ability to repay the SBA loan from the cash flow of the business is the most important consideration in the SBA loan making process. It's important to establish a relationship with your commercial loan officer early in the application process. All right, true or false? Employees can utilize an SBA 7A loan to purchase the business. That's right. The answer is true. Employees can leverage the SBA 7A loan to acquire the business. This includes partner buyouts, when one or more existing owners of a business decide to acquire the entire ownership interest of another partner. This allows for repayment terms up to 10 years and a significant lower down payment. I had the opportunity to also assist a painting and coating manufacturing company that engages in mixing pigments, solvents, and binders into paints and other coatings such as stains, water repellent coatings for concrete and masonry. Their top clients were construction firms, furniture manufacturers, and industrial manufacturing companies. The employee had experience working as a sales director for 6 years at this company. The acquiring employee also brought over 15 years of experience within the industry, but had no previous business ownership experience. The decision was to use an SBA 7A loan for financing the acquisition. The applicant had a 10% down payment in his savings account, but blanket liens on current assets such as inventory and accounts receivables were taken. Life insurance was also required to protect SBA's interests in the event of death. The applicant received coverage at the loan amount. This is because if the success of the business depends only on one individual, life insurance may be required. Another requirement, since this business was leasing the property, the length of the lease and renewal options must always at a minimum equal to the term of the loan, which in this case was 10 years. Okay, true or false? SBA 504 loans can be used for working capital needs. Wonderful. Great. Thank you all for your participation. I'm enjoying everyone's responses. All right. And the final answer is false. The SBA 504 loan program is tailored for financing fixed assets such as real estate, construction, and equipment acquisition, rather than addressing working capital needs. Your business might want to explore alternative financing solutions like a business line of credit to secure funds for short-term working capital needs, such as routine operational expenses like payroll, inventory, satisfy supplier invoices, make bulk purchases for supplier discounts, or for a company that experiences seasonal fluctuations in their cash flow. A business line of credit has interest-only payments. This is a revolving credit arrangement, meaning you can borrow, repay, and borrow again without reapplying, providing full flexibility to manage your borrowed funds. Interest rates are significantly less than a credit card. Another important reason to know why conventional business line of credit is for short-term needs. So many lending institutions may impose a pay down period during which the borrower must reduce the outstanding balance, often to zero, at least once per year to maintain the account in good standing with the bank. If your business is unable to pay down, for example, an outstanding balance of $50,000 business line of credit by the end of this year, the best way to handle the situation is to contact your commercial loan officer in advance to discuss the SBA 7A loan program for a favorable and flexible payment option before the 12-month mark. The next case study involves two applicants purchasing their second restaurant. Of course, I've looked at the financial performance of the first location, where they doubled their sales revenue from $2 million in 2022 to $4 million in 2023. Since the two applicants have used a majority of their personal real estate as collateral for the first restaurant, the loan was subject to approval based on the following conditions. There was a junior mortgage on the applicant's investment property. We needed a receipt and satisfactory review of a business valuation report. This is because not only was the business purchasing this location, but they're also purchasing the existing business, which was the restaurant. We needed full receipt and satisfactory review of the fully executed asset purchase agreement. We needed 3 years of projections from the borrower, a first priority perfected security interest in all of the borrower's property, including not limited to accounts, inventory, equipment, liquor license. We also need an assignment of retail packaged goods stores, which is the wines and malts license. Life insurance policy was also required for this. There was a large collateral shortfall on this purchase, but given the strong credit history from both applicants, extensive experience in the restaurant industry, and a proven track record of the first restaurant location, the bank did approve the loan under those conditions and moved forward with obtaining an SBA 7A loan approval. Now, let's pivot our attention to another pivotal financing option that businesses can leverage, the SBA 504 loan program. As we transition into the next phase of our discussion, I want to emphasize that Brent will now be leading the second part of this webinar with an overview of the SBA 504 loan program.
Thank you very much, Giselle. I very much appreciate it. And thank you all for joining us today and giving me the opportunity to speak on the SBA 504 loan. As Giselle mentioned, my name is Brant Abraham. I work at Granite State Development. We're what's known as a Certified Development Corporation, specialized entirely on the SBA 504. Throughout my presentation, I plan to tell you about the SBA 504, what Granite State does, what CDCs do, and give you a few examples of projects that I've done and how they've been able to help small business owners like yourselves.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Brant.
So Granite State is what's known as a Certified Development Company, otherwise known as a CDC. We're a non-for-profit company with a contract with the SBA to service, package, and underwrite SBA 504 loans. What's very important about that piece is through the servicing, we don't sell off the debenture. So any servicing questions you have throughout the term of your loan, we will be there to answer and be there to support whatever thing you need. There's 191 CDCs in the country. We're located in New Hampshire. To be a CDC, you lend in states contiguous to your home state. So as we're in New Hampshire, we lend in Massachusetts, Maine, Vermont, and New Hampshire as well. We are the #1 CDC across New England for many, many years now. It's also important to note that a bank needs a CDC to approve a 504. A CDC cannot approve a 504 loan without the bank attached like Northern Bank. So what can you finance with an SBA 504 loan? You could use it to purchase land, purchase or construct a building. The important piece is that these buildings must be owner occupied, 51% or more, to utilize the SBA 504 program. You're able to do a cash out refinance of an owner occupied building and receive up to 20% of the appraised value for cash out used as working capital. Construct an owner occupied building that's at least 60% owner occupied and will have at least 80% owner occupied within 10 years. You can utilize it to purchase large equipment with a minimum of a 10-year useful lifeline. Business acquisitions with the real estate. Although we're not able to fund the purchase of the business, if you do purchase the business along with the real estate, we can assist with using the SBA 504 program to purchase that real estate. You can utilize it for professional fees and eligible fees as well. In certain situations, for example, the startup or special purchase building, a bed and breakfast, hotel, convenience store with gas, the equity requirement is 15%. I will touch on the equity structure shortly, as well as if it's a business, a special purpose business and a startup, the equity requirement would be 20%. One thing that's important to note is we like to say, get a member of Granite State involved as early as possible. By getting us involved as early as possible, we're able to fish out any sort of questions and concerns that may come up that had we not been able to get on early, it may be too late. It may cause delay in closing, and our goal is to get you to closing as quickly and as smoothly as possible. So how can the SBA 504 loan open opportunities for small business owners like yourselves? The first one is risk mitigation. Banks are more open to lending to different type of industries by utilizing the SBA 504 program because they go down from the conventional 70%, 75%, 65% loan to value to a 50% loan to value. The bank will take on a 50%, the SBA will do 40%, and the borrower will have a 10% equity injection. This allows banks to offer deals and more opportunities to clients that they conventionally may not have felt as comfortable with on the credit side of things. As I mentioned before, the typical structure of a loan is 50-40-10. The bank does 50%, the SBA does 40%, and the borrower equity injection is 10%. This is very important because on a conventional loan, a borrower could have up to a equity injection requirement of 25-30%. So this allows borrowers that may not have the necessary cash on hand to then in turn be able to make a purchase that they normally could not make without the SBA 504 program. And lastly, we offer up to a 25-year term fixed rate. This allows business owners like yourselves to understand exactly how much money they will be paying on their mortgage for the next 25 years and allows them to focus more on the actual running and the operation of the business instead of the worries at night of interest rate fluctuation and changing, and am I going to be able to afford next mortgage payment if it goes up, if it goes down. Essentially, it allows you to focus entirely on what you do for work. The typical 504 structure, as I mentioned before, the bank does 50%, the borrower the SBA 40%, and the borrower equity is 10%. Approval is valid for 4 years as long as there's no adverse changes in financials or ownership. The minimum equity requirement, as I mentioned before, 10% for standard, 50% for startup, which is known as businesses that are either starting up or less than 2 years worth of tax returns, and 20% for startups in special use building. This as well as something that when you get us involved, we'll make it very clear from our initial conversation what the structure of the loan is going to be and clearly outline what the actual loan amounts will be from the bank, for the SBA, and for yourself as a borrower. The maximum loan amount for the SBA portion of the loan is $5 million or $5.5 million for small manufacturers or green energy projects. This means that it allows for loan sizes up to roughly $11.5 or $12 million total. So I'd like to talk as well about a physical therapy office that I helped finance in Andover. They were renting their property, and the owner of the property came to them and said, "Would you like to buy the property?" The property was listed for $1 million. They did not have the necessary cash to have a conventional loan and be at the 25 or 30% down payment, which in this situation on $1 million purchase price would have been $250,000 or $300,000. By utilizing the SBA 504 program, they were able to utilize a 10% equity injection or $100,000 and allowed them to make the purchase of the building and no longer have to pay for the rent. So the bank did 50% or $500,000. The SBA did 40% or $400,000. And as I mentioned, the borrower's equity only had to be $100,000. Without the SBA 504 product, the borrower would not have had the necessary capital requirements to purchase the building. I'd also like to touch on a construction project that I recently helped put together. It was a new sports facility for an existing lacrosse company. They used the SBA 504 program to build out the construction of an entirely 100% owner-occupied facility, similar to what I mentioned before about not having the necessary capital requirements for a conventional loan at 25 to 30%, as well as the bank not having necessary comfort for a new construction loan without the risk mitigation that the SBA 504 program offered. The total construction cost came out to $1,200,000. The bank did $600,000, 50%. The SBA did 40% or $480,000, and the borrower did a 10% equity injection of $120,000.
Awesome. Fantastic job, Brand. Thank you again for presenting the benefits of the SBA 504 program. I greatly appreciate your partnership. Granite State Development is a great partner of Northern Bank, and so we really, truly appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. And I appreciate everyone taking the time to join us today.
Absolutely. And there are a few questions for you, Brent, that I received from the registration process. The first question for you is it possible for a waiver of life insurance requirement?
Absolutely. So this is something we touch on at the beginning of the process as well. The first waiver would be if you have a proper succession plan in place. We would review that plan to make sure it fits to the SBA requirements. The second one would be a project that is under $500,000. And the third way would be if there are multiple owners to either the real estate or the business.
Great, thank you. And the next question for you is, can the borrower roll over soft costs into the loan, such as title fees, appraisal fees, construction fees, etc., into the SB 504 loan?
Absolutely, they can. That's why, as I mentioned before, that it's very important for us to get involved as early on in the process. Having myself and Giselle look at the general contractor's budget will allow us to figure out exactly which costs qualify and which costs don't, which allow us to put together a more clear picture on the equity structure and the loan structure and roll in those costs that are feasible to be added to an SBA 504 project.
Great, thank you for answering. And I can answer these next questions. The question I received was, can I use both SBA 7A and 504 loans for my business? The answer is yes. It's possible to use both types of loans to meet different financing needs. For example, you might obtain an SBA 7A loan for working capital needs and then an SBA 504 loan for purchasing the real estate. We often see when our clients apply for an SBA 504 loan program, they will also need support with the line of credit. So absolutely, it's possible. And the next question here I have, were there any changes for 2025 for the SBA 7A loan program? Yes, there's actually a lot of changes coming up. There is a new 7A working capital pilot program that recently launched, which provides 75% guarantee lines of credit up to $5 million that can support both domestic and international transactions. There are always changes that come up a few times during the year. A new version of the SOP from the SBA will always be posted on their website, which is sba.gov. So it's definitely important to stay in touch with a commercial loan officer to inform you and guide you throughout the application process. And like Brent mentioned, if it's a real estate purchase or a large equipment purchase, is definitely we get Brant involved right away in the project just to make sure there are any changes or any updates to the standard operating procedure. We will keep you guys informed. Absolutely. So thanks again for everyone that joined today's call, and thank you for the questions tonight. Be on the lookout for the webinar recording in your inbox tomorrow. The Northern Bank Know and Grow Education Series continues in April with a webinar on fraud and risk management strategies. This is also such an important topic for all businesses. Scan the QR code now on the screen to register. I'll take a few seconds here for everyone to do that.
Can I come to the next one, Giselle? Would that be okay? Sit back and learn?
Absolutely, Brand. It's
I'll be there.
on April 16th from 5 to 6 p.m. We have a great team of specialists. Stay ahead of the threat, be knowledgeable. Absolutely.
I won't have to wear my suit next time because no camera's on. So I look forward to it.
Awesome. So to all of our audience, thank you for joining us today as we explore the benefits of the SBA 7A and 504 loan program. We hope you found the information valuable and insightful. If you have any questions or concerns, please don't hesitate to reach out to me directly. I encourage you to connect with me on LinkedIn. I look forward to seeing everyone at our next educational series with Northern Bank. Also, please follow Northern Bank on LinkedIn and stay up to date on future events. And thank you so much, Brant, for joining us.
Thank you for having me and being a part of your Know and Grow series by Northern Bank. It is an honor to be a part of it.
Have a great night, everyone.